I am too busy to date your avatar. I'm a star. I'm too busy to date your avatar. I'm a star.
One of my favorite clients.
She's too busy to date your avatar. She's a star.
For my love, you'll have to wait. I just have no time for a date.
She's too busy to date your avatar.
Media is my métier. I have no time to play. I'm just too busy for love.
She's just too busy for love.
There are guys who seem real nice, but for me they're all on ice. I have no time, I'm just too booked.
She is totally overbooked. You need a new appointment.
I'm too busy to date your avatar. I'm a star.
She is very, very busy.
She's too busy to date your avatar. She's a star.
It is a disaster.
For my love, you'll have to wait. I just have no time for a date.
She's too busy to date your avatar.
Fame is a two-edged sword. Never boring, never bored. No time for boys. No time for men.
No time for romance.
So the ship I captain sails off every day through virtuality, bringing me my destiny.
In other words, for virtual icebergs.
Virtual iceberg? He's on my friends list.
It can get tough, 24/7, we're all in it for some virtual heaven. The show must go on, each week there's a script. We're not a couple on the show, we're hitched. Waited our whole life to be this busy. Cards and texters make her dizzy.
I'm making an appointment with her right now.
Oh, you want a Roman circus? Let's talk. I'm too busy to date your avatar. I'm a star.
A real celebrity.
She's too busy to date your avatar. She's a star.
I adore her.
For my love, you'll have to wait. I just have no time for a date.
She's too busy to date your avatar.
Do you want to date her avatar? She's a star. Do you want to date her avatar? She's gone too far, and that's for sure. I'm too busy to date your avatar. I'm a star.
She needs time to unwind.
Well. Welcome to the Second Life Book Club. I was like, is it the Second Life Book Club or is it the Dragster Book Club or the Drax Files Book Club? Well, I can tell you, it's pretty cold out here in Second Life. It's snowing like crazy. Can you see this? Can people see this? So, first of all, welcome to the year-end show. Our viewers on YouTube and our viewers in World, which are not here yet because I will walk up to them. And also, congratulations, Kitten Duo, who is on YouTube. And Kitten Duo is a member of the channel, of my YouTube channel for 12 months. This is amazing. Congratulations, Kitten. You are truly inspiring. And honestly, I mean, I care about everyone who shows up here. I care about the regular folks. I care about the new people who come up. But I do really think about every Wednesday. I think about what would Kitten, what would she enjoy coming up with like my little thingy. So I really appreciate you being with us, and I know the others appreciate you as well. And maybe one of these days we'll see you in World. And for now, you're on YouTube. And look at all these little monsters here. They're all bowing their heads and going, "Ooh, Kitten's been here for 12 months. I've only been here for like a couple of months. Oh, look at me, look at me. I only have one eye." So yeah, so I'm gonna walk to the main venue. This, by the way, is the world that we built for the Perry Roden show, that huge German sci-fi series, and that was one of my favorite shows actually last year. We had so many amazing guests, and for the Perry Roden show, we built three worlds basically leading up, well, worlds, I mean, little places, leading up to the final venue. And so if you saw that, or if you were there, you saw me walking through these worlds, and they kind of represent Perry Roden's, limitless universe that they create week in, week out. Perry Roden is that weekly sci-fi series that predates Star Trek and Doctor Who, but I digress. We'll talk about other things, and I also want to hear what other people have experienced. So here's the next world. Look at this. Are these people readers? Hello? It's the year end. Are you a reader or just a robot? Just an AI. Oh my God. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should ask this. What do you guys think of AI? I mean, obviously, I have my opinion. I find AI art highly problematic, but primarily because of the superstructure and the fact that artists are exploited. But maybe we'll bring this up on the panel. Um, Here is a worm. This is probably a literal bookworm. Oh my God. Yes, this is a bookworm. I did not script this prior to this. This is all ad lib. This is all improv. Okay? Can I get a shofar, a little fanfare for my improv abilities? These guys has so many. This guy has so many eyes. This guy has so many little eyes. We're here to talk about books. Let's just keep going here, and arrive at the venue. This is Terrania. This is on Book Club Island number 4. It was built by Ruby, and this was built for the Perry Roden show. And now we're here at the end of 2022, a year full of books, a year full of amazing guests, a year of Flenser blocking the stage. I'm just kidding. I am kidding. A year of Mike Watson not finding his seat. Look at this guy. This is a paper guy. He's gray, gray like the future. Okay, so this is awesome. Here we are, and it's the end of the year. Welcome everybody. Welcome Water. Welcome Shyla. Welcome Moon. Welcome Tessa. Monkey. Arietu. Good to see Arietu. Abby. Stranger. Moon is not quite res there. Lux. Pixel. Jessica. Bunny. Gapno over here in the back. Snake Apple Tree. And the manager. And of course, Flenser. And Mike is sitting, and Mike is looking great, looking swell. Always smoking, although it's not allowed, but that's fine. Smoking's not allowed in here, Mike. Um, how was your book year? How was your book year? If people want to share how their book year was, please do that in text. If you want to come on stage and talk a little bit, you can do that too. But I do have stuff prepared. I have a short story by E.M. Lambden from Salvage Magazine, which is a socialist magazine founded by China Mieville. It's a wonderful short story that I will read. Shyla will read a poem, and Lux has composed a poem that will be read by Monkey. So we have a bunch of things, and I'm also going to glance over to the YouTube chat. So please share in chat if you will, and I'll read it. Or if you want to come up on stage and talk a little bit, you can also let me know, and then I will let you go on stage. Let's see what's happening here on the chat. Can I get the link to find the book club in SL? Shyla, maybe share the SLDG entry, second.life / book club. That's easy and handy. So, okay. I'm going to talk about my reading then, my year of reading. And I have a bunch of slides as well that I prepared. But first of all, let me say that I have encountered a term that I love. And the term I found on a booktube channel, and the term is toxic productivity. Now, I read, and here you guys can't see this, but on YouTube they can. This is my Goodreads reading challenge. I have read 250 books in 2022. Okay? Um, I'm not proud of it, and I don't bring this up to brag. I actually learned from this that I need to read a lot less and a lot deeper. I don't think I read no, not deep, but I could definitely read deeper with more notes and also reread. But I did read 250 books. Some of them were 20 pages long, and I also cataloged because I just wanted to see how this works. I cataloged here, for example, music, The Devils of Loudon, which is a book by Aldous Huxley, but I read the score of Christoph Penderecki's opera. So I read scores for fun. Here, Mahler Symphony Number One, and I just put that also in my Goodreads list to see what happens if I catalog that. That's the main reason I use Goodreads is um, to keep a record for myself. And um, you can see if I click View More. Oh, here's the third policeman, which is absolutely amazing. Wait a minute, I went too far. How do I get back? Here we go. This is also cool. Yoss, a Cuban sci-fi author. Highly recommended. But here we go. So you can see that there's a lot of Perry Rhodan. I got totally into Perry Rhodan, of course, and I wanted to catch up to the current cycle. I did read Paul Stanley's Life Expanded Exposed. I'm not proud of it, but I'm a big Kiss fan. What can I say? And so you have here Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons' autobiography next to Franz Werfel, the great Bohemian writer who fled the Nazis and died on my 2 days after my birthday in 1945. I also read here's the all period here. I also read Kant in 60 minutes and Schopenhauer in 60 minutes. This is a German guy who is a philosophy teacher, and he's really amazing. He has Nietzsche in 60 minutes. These are just overviews, and they're not available in English. So yeah, here's the Perry Rhodan phase where I read all the. I don't know how Goodreads actually groups these. I don't think I read them all in this one sitting. I thought that I thought that they were more distributed. Here I read Crash, J.G. Ballard's Crash. I can tell you that Crash is probably okay. Let's just do what was my favorite book this year? Um, Not this one, Perry Rhodan, Thoras Flucht. This is from 1961. But here you can see I commented to myself, wow, I need to read slower. The favorite book, I would say, is in fact The Third Policeman. The Third Policeman is a novel by an Irish author. It came out in 66, maybe 1966, but he wrote it in the 40s and then he didn't publish it. This is absolutely insane. This is about a guy who murders a farmer and then is somehow in a different world that is governed by three policemen who also govern eternity. And it is incredibly surreal. And I don't want to spoil it. There is a big spoiler. And I had The Third Policeman on my shelf for years. It is an absolute masterpiece, I can tell you. But why did I have it on my shelf? And why did I never read it? Well, why did I never read it? Because I read a lot of other stuff, including 250 books per year. Um, but why did I get it in the first place? The reason why I got it because a writer on the television show Lost, you remember Lost, 2004? That was really the last big show that I watched. I stopped watching television. I loved Lost. and a guy, not the main writer, but the third in command, said um, they placed the book The Third Policeman on the set when these guys go into the hatch. I'm not gonna rehash Lost. I think it was a fantastic show, very deep, very philosophical. But they placed a lot of like books on the set, right? So randomly, and characters read books and stuff like that, and people were always like, "Oh, is that a clue?" And they placed The Third Policeman very prominently on the set. And one of the writers said in an interview, said, "If you read this book by Flann O'Brien, The Third Policeman, you will probably understand a lot more what's going on in Lost, because Lost, if you haven't seen it again, very mysterious, really, really, yeah, some stuff that was not resolved. I mean, to my taste, it actually was, but there was a huge controversy about that. Anyway, now I read The Third Policeman, and I'm like, shit. This exactly explains Lost, absolutely everything. Or anyway, so I think I'll just pick that as the best book I read, because I don't want to scroll back. I don't want to scroll back that far. But yeah, I guess nobody wants to talk about their reading habits today, or their favorite book, or what they want to do different next year. So I'm going to then show you a few slides, because what I find really fascinating is my shelf. And I was going into my shelf, and I wanted to see, what am I going to read, right? Because I want to slow read. I want to read slower. And I figured out by looking at my shelf that I'm not going to reread Snow Crash. Now, Snow Crash was very instrumental for me, as probably for a lot of others. But a German reviewer just recently did a video about Snow Crash, and he completely trashed it, and he makes really good points. So now I'm realizing, as I'm looking through my shelf, looking for the 5 big books that I want to read this year, I realize I have 3 copies of the German translation of Snow Crash. Now you tell me if that's too many. Should I give them away? I gave away a lot of books to the free library finally, because I usually only take. Um, and I gave away a lot, but maybe I should give away these 3 Snow Crash. But they're all different editions, so I don't know. I'm really kind of obsessive about this, and I still have space in my shelf, so but I don't even have the English version anymore, because the English version I gave to someone and he never gave it back, and now I forgot who I gave it to. Anyway, I'm still throwing out my prompt. Let me know, what was your favorite book. Let me know, what do you want to read next year, and what are your reading habits. Feel free to put it in the chat. Let's see. Jessica, I got about 150 this year, but most are research. Yeah, that's always the thing, right? We had this wonderful guest during Derek Landy's appearance, where he said he just lost the joy of reading, because when he was in college he had to read so much. Um, Kippy here says Snow Crash required for all Second Lifers. Absolutely, Kippy. But it's interesting, this review. This is sort of my socialist podcast, a German public intellectual. He's fantastic, Wolfgang Schmidt. They talk about economics and books and stuff like that. And he dismantled Snow Crash, not so much in terms of like the vision, or, was described, but he just said it's like it's really badly written. And anyway, Jessica's favorite book, Will Wiles' The Way In. See, now I am very, very happy that I introduced Jessica to Will Wiles. I'll take this credit, because my other recommendations Jessica hates. But Will Wiles is really immensely talented, and I think that the Way In is also my favorite. I mean, The Way In is about a hotel that basically never ends. It's the Never-Ending Hotel, and it is like a literary The Shining. Not to I don't know if it's The Shining. It's also really a critique on late stage capitalism and monopolization and stuff like that. But it's really well written. So if people want to pick up something that is very well written, but really easy to read, really suspenseful. I mean, this is to me the best of both worlds. Um, Pick up Will Wilde's The Way In. Um, Jumanji, a lot of a lot of books with good ideas are badly written. Yeah, you can say that again, or you can type that again. Just copy and paste it. Say it again. Absolutely, and it's sometimes you can kind of forgive that because the idea is so good. People have said this about the three body problem. I disagree. People have said the three body problem is mind-boggling in terms of ideas and concepts, but it's not really well written and the characters are not really fleshed out. I kind of disagree on that. I think it's also a matter of the translation. I think it's really hard to say with non-English books, right? Because the translation could really mess things up. I'm a big Franz Kafka fan, and I gave my wife an English translation of Kafka, and it's pretty bad. There's a lot of different translations floating around, and I bought one at a used bookstore. So Kafka is also, of course, must read, but Kafka was really destroyed by that particular translation. Anyway, Snake Appletree is reading Homeschooling. Um, Snake Appletree, I hope that you decide against it and support public education. But to each their own. Um, Flenza Jürgens have a reading of Ready Player One that sounds interesting. Okay, here's an unpopular opinion. Ready Player One uh, is really not that great. You have to acknowledge that Ready Player One is a cultural phenomenon, absolutely, and I think maybe you want to read it because you want to know why it has sparked the VR revolution or the latest iteration of it. Not the revolution, but the VR resurgence, I should say. Um, but Ready Player One is, there's any number of books. By the way, here I see it on my shelf. Werner Vinge, Rainbow's End. Please look at the slide that I have up here. Uh, it's on the right side. Werner Vinge, Rainbow's End is much, much better than Ready Player One. It's also about virtual reality, augmented reality, AI. Rainbow's End is incredibly good. So yeah, movies. Flenser has been to this show many times or often enough to know that I really don't care about movies, and there has yet to be a movie made that is as good as a book. Okay, well I mean, maybe The Shining. It's different, but anyway, Ready Player One is popcorn, I guess, and it's interesting that it influenced the Oculus guys to create the Oculus Palmer Lucky. Um, but it's a this it's ultimately it's I don't want to say anything bad about mass culture at the end of the year. But Ready Player One is a very nostalgic, fast-paced popcorn mainstream thingy with very little to chew on for the people who like meat, right? And I like meat, or I like good good vegan stuff. Now, as I looked into my shelf, I took a few more pictures because speaking about movies, Jumanji, it's not literary. Ready Player One is not literary at all. Um, it is off-brand cotton candy. Okay, that's mean. Here is a part of my shelf, actually speaking about movies, because I watched movies when I was younger, and I loved novelizations of movies. And one is missing here. You can see from left to right. I mean, Frankenstein is not a novelization. That's I don't know if that why that is in that part of the shelf. But then you got the Nightmare on Elm Street. You got E.T., you got The Brood, David Cronenberg, you got Kriegsspiele, war games, got 12 Monkeys, The Thing, Clash of the Titans. Here we go. George Lucas, Krieg der Sterne, Star Wars. I have the German translation of the novelization. This is by Alan Dean Foster, but he didn't get credit. Look up Alan Dean Foster and Disney. There was a huge fight because of royalties that Disney didn't want to pay for properties that they bought for writers. And Alan Dean Foster is an accomplished author, but not a rich person. And he was shortchanged. And Cory Doctorow, friend of this show, and others were really advocating. And I think now Disney has paid back payments, the royalties. This is Cronenberg's Existenz, Alan Parker, Bugsy Malone, George Romero, Zombie, Omen, Damien, Halloween, The Stepford Wives. This is, of course, not a novelization. This is the original novel by Ira Levin, The Stepford Wives, and William Blatty's The Exorcist also. And here, Contact by Carl Sagan also predates that movie, of course. And then, speaking of my shelf, next year, what is my other New Year's resolution other than reading slow? And by reading slow, I'm going to set my goal very low, and I'm going to just pick 5 big nonfiction books and 5 big um, fiction canon books. One of them is War and Peace, I can tell you that much. But the first nonfiction book is finally I'm reading Das Kapital. I have read Das Kapital, this allgemeinverständliche Version, which is a shortened version. This is the third book from the left. And I'm reading Das Kapital in its original, of course, in German. And I'm going to follow along with a YouTube channel to a self-guided reading. And yeah, this is my little Marx shelf. The Manifesto of the Communist Party is so good. I recommend it to everyone. You can read it very in no time. It is incredibly well and succinct. The Holocaust Industry. This is very interesting by Norman Finkelstein. Just looking at that. And here, oh, Hamann. This was I don't know why that is in my Marx shelf next to Marx. See, the right wingers would probably say, of course, you have a book about a serial killer next to Marx because Marx killed more people than capitalism or something to that effect. Hannah Arendt, of course, here in the middle. But yeah, Marx. I'm going to tackle Marx this year, and David Harvey has a YouTube channel, Professor David Harvey, um, with guided along. And speaking of these more complex books, another thing that I'm doing this year is taking notes. So there's a bunch of YouTube channels, YouTube videos, entire channels dedicated to note taking. Let me see what people are posting in the chat. Moon, I love Existence. Well, all the body horror of Cronenberg is excellent. Gabno says, but only Existence. I actually think Videodrome is the best movie ever. And if you read Society of the Spectacle while you're watching video or after you watch Videodrome, then I think that can be very beneficial. Anyway, so another New Year's resolution, other than reading slowly, is going to take notes. Here's my dream journal. I'm going to record my dreams. So after I get up, I'm not turning on any machines. My phone is in my phone jail overnight, so I'm not taking the phone Not picking it up when I wake up at night. I'm not picking it up first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, I'm going to write in my dream journal. This is my music journal. I I do something music related every day, a minimum of 1 hour. I mean, the life is hectic, but also I get paid to writing music, so I'm not counting that. The 1 hour for music is for myself. So, but I'm going to chronicle it in this journal, just briefly, 1 hour jazz jamming 251 or jamming to Days of Wine and Roses, or I don't know, playing Desafinado in a acoustic version or whatnot, right? So not a lot of detail. I just put that in there. Then these are also cheap books. They're nice looking, but they're really cheap at the grocery store, basically. And I'm going to just summarize after I read a book in this one. I'm going to summarize what it is and how I felt about it. And the other one is also to go along with the nonfiction books. One is fiction, one is nonfiction. And now here, this is a term that I heard. Fleeters. Now, what does that mean? Fleeters. Fleeters means fleeting thoughts. And I saw this on YouTube. There was a YouTube channel about note taking, and the guy was talking about fleeting thoughts. And he has a notebook with him at all times to record the fleeting thought. And this is very cheap. This is literally 60 cents in the store, this spiral notebook. I don't know, 100 pages. And I'm going to take this with me at all times. Now, I'm not, going far. I haven't been out of the country or out of the city for 2 years now. Used to travel quite a bit for filming purposes for my movies. I might not travel next year either. There is a film in pre-production that should bring me to California, but maybe not. So we'll see. I don't mind. Um, I don't I don't mind not flying. So when I go outside, commonplace book they're called. That's great, Jessica. Yeah. So when I mean take this little spiral notebook with me at all times, what I mean is literally going to run errands to the store or walking the dog, or walking. Well, I take the dog 3 times a day, so this is all my walks. Or when I visit my dad, always take this little spiral notebook. The other ones stay at home. But again, the dream journal has to be right next to your bed, sharpened pencils next to it. Dream journal is something I wanted to do for literally decades, and I've done it once or twice, and it's amazing. And you guys know how amazing this is because this world that you're in, when you're not quite there, this third realm between dreams and the real world is just amazing. And the stuff that is conjured up and those visual metaphors or even the insight or whatever is revealing itself during the dream, it vanishes so fast that you need to put this down. Even if you wake up at night and you got to go to the bathroom, you wake up and you come out of this dream world. I encourage you, and I'm encouraging myself to follow through with this and write it down. It is absolutely amazing. Jessica dreamed I was back in the opera house wearing only pink stilettos. Wow. See? When did you dream this? Yesterday or every day? And what did the people say last night? See, I currently have dreams evolving around. Guitar Water says you get dreams that contain memories from earlier dreams with people you know in real life. Jesus Christ, Water, yes, I do. Check out what Water just said. You get dreams that contain memories from earlier dreams with people you know in real life. Yes. Matter of fact, I'm currently dreaming a lot. It's almost like a serialized television show in a way with no linear plot. I dream a lot about the family I live with and um, my writing partner in LA when I moved to LA in 1995. and we were writing music. We had a development deal. I don't know. I talked about this all the time, but I dream about this constantly, different variations. And there may be some unresolved issues. I mean, we did not part ways as the best of friends, let's put it that way, but it wasn't a big falling out. But it's definitely, I would say, along the lines of I put those when I reminisce about those early 2 years in LA. I do reminisce about it in the sense of what could have been if things were different, right? Um, Not in terms of like, oh my God, we could have been big stars, but we've done some really cool things. And some of the stuff, I have records of this. I have recordings. I'm very proud of that time. We did Zappa covers and stuff like that. We wrote music. We recorded with amazing, very famous people, etc. But ultimately, it ended, and now I think these dreams. There is something going on in my mind. Uh, I don't know if it's a midlife crisis or something that I'm dreaming about this, and then it's merged into our later life in California in a different town. So all this stuff is meshed together. Anyway, I don't want to bore you. I'm going to write a book about it. Moon says it's the 12 nights right here now. No, maybe good time to write down your dreams. I don't know what the 12 you gotta I'm not Rauhnächte. Please, somebody look up Wikipedia and put something in the chat here so I understand. Let's see here. I'm gonna glance at the YouTube chat while I'm putting another. Why does this not work? I'm gonna put another. Here we go. Here's another image, photo. Kippy says I use Discord for fleeters on a computer on my cell when out and about. It's crazy how fast you forget your dreams once you wake up. Dream journal is a good idea. Can you use it for story ideas? Yeah, role play ideas into a chat AI. Let it finish the story for you. We'll talk about AIs at another point in time because AIs are very problematic. But yeah, Kippy, and Kippy, let me say, I mean, people do this in different ways, but I'm completely sold as a fan of the digital world to doing this analog. So don't type it into your phone. I mean, again, well, I don't know. Note taking might work, but it's really cool to have these physical objects lying around and you put it in your shelf, and years later you pick them up again, right? So before we go to Shyla and the poem and Lux's poem, I want to show you my shelf here. This is, of course, the most important part of the shelf. This is my David Foster Wallace, Infinite Jest in English, Unendlicher Spaß, German. His short story collection, Girl with Curious Hair, a supposedly fun thing I'll never do again. Great title. The Pale King, posthumously released 2011, I believe. Der Bleiche König, German Pale King. And here the Broom of the System, that's his debut novel that he wasn't very happy with. Oblivion, Consider the Lobster, and brief interviews with hideous men, short stories. And then we go to Thomas Pynchon. But if you want to read anything big, if you're a big guy or gal, you got to read Infinite Jest. I will not stop talking about it. Moon explains what the 12th night is. It's the time between Christmas and the New Year, a very mystical time. It is a very mystical time, Moon, indeed. That's why I'm dreaming about 1995. Yes. You know what? This is like I'm bitching about movies that I don't watch movies, but I did watch Napoleon Dynamite, I really enjoyed that movie. And there's a character in that movie, his uncle, who uh, says frequently that the best year in his life was 1982. And then one of the subplots is that his uncle is building a time machine to go into 1982, where he obviously peaked, whatever, he was in high school or whatever. So I'm going to be talking about 1995 when I moved to LA and the world was fresh and everything was possible. and I recorded at the house of Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, and I transcribed Zappa, and I met Dweezil and whatnot. Anyways, I won't bore you. I'm gonna dream about this tonight. Okay, do I have another? Oh yeah, speaking about Zappa. Oops, sorry. I want to show you this because this is very cool. My son gave me a record. I didn't have a record player. Now we do. But my son for Christmas gave me Frank Zappa 200 Motels. This is a vinyl remaster, two vinyl, unbelievable. 50th anniversary. Not well, it came out in 1971. But anyway, that's an aside. Has nothing to do with books. And the last part of the bookshelf that is important that I came across while I was looking for my big books is this one by Liz Jensen. Liz Jensen was never on this show. Wait a minute, this first book doesn't belong in here. Liz Jensen is a contemporary British author who is just amazing. I interviewed her in Sansar, but I'm going to get her back to the virtual world, to Second Life, because she was never here. The reason why I discovered her was a book called The Ninth Life of Louis Drax, and I saw that in the shelf somewhere in a used bookstore in Edinburgh, and I was like, what? There is a book with my name on it. I gotta buy it, and I bought it, and I emailed her, and 40 minutes later came the email back, yes, I would love to do a thing in the virtual world. That was back in Sansar. Anyway, that's that. That's my shelf. And now, Shyla, would you like to come and read a poem and talk a little bit about your poem?
Oh, sure.
Do you
Sure.
have a
Oh,
poem for us?
I do have a poem for you.
Only for me or for all of us?
For every for
E-
everyone.
Even for Flenser
Even for Flintstone.
and for Guitar Water?
Yes, even for water.
Where is Water? Water is here. Oh, Water is reading a book. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm camming on Water. Ah, that's the book he wrote. It's the book Fish. He gave it to me. Yeah. It's great, Water. I mean, it's the book is full of ideas. The book is full of ideas and it's also well written. I mean, earlier we spoke about books with great ideas but not well written. I can tell folks this book is full of ideas and it's also well written. And your next book, maybe I could write the some sort of foreword or something. Thank you. Shyla, floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you. All right. This is a poem called When I Am Late. It is in the way she speaks with Boston seared into her words, her pigeon toes peering outward, level with earth's soils and concrete. She calls me out, and it is everything to say, when I'm late, you notice me. The secret, there is nothing greater to me in any moment than her two beautiful brown eyes gazing toward me with care or frustration. It does not matter. When I'm late, you notice me. Oh, such a small part of me. So I tell her, so she knows, will always know. I wish her to see all of me, but if it just this little bit, it's enough for me. Her smile, it is all in her smile, so warm and caring, generous in its breath, I think, as I arrive just to see her. She calls me out again, and I stutter. When I'm late, you notice me. When she speaks, I believe it is to me. Always and forever it is to me whom she speaks, and I listen, for the world depends upon it. She invites me to sit with her, to hear how colored pencils are for doodling. Nothing else will do. She is speaking to me. I hear everything like magnet to steel. Steel is strong and centered and zen, and when I'm late, you notice me. She knows all of this and thinks I understand the line we cannot cross. I nod agreement to avoid what cannot be said. She is right, but she can't be. I do not believe it, for she is everything. She knows I still dream one day for her to notice everything, like I notice her black hair and smart words. Everything she says valuable, a lesson, wisdom unleashed. So I am late again. Pretend it was the phone, but no, it is when I am late. You notice me. That is when I am late. So a little infatuation with a college professor. So back to you.
Thank you, Shyla. I was thinking if this poem is about me, but you're never late to the book club, and I'm also a he. This is wonderful, Shyla. Shyla, is this also being published?
This was published in Your Fire magazine out of the UK, and yeah, so that was very, very kind.
And tell us again this magazine that is coming out now, where you're published.
It came out on the blog in November, and here is the link.
And you can buy physical versions of this magazine.
No, not this one. You're thinking Boats Against the Current.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
that's a
The one,
different
yeah.
publication.
Right. When I'm late, put that in the here we go. Your Fire magazine. It's in the local chat, and you can put it in the YouTube as well, and the Boats Against the Current as well, if you like. This is where Shyla is published, and it's a physical magazine, which is I love physical magazines. Now, Lux Boa de Vaison has written the poem, and she said if Monkey would read it, and I think Monkey is going to read it, right? Monkey? Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Monkey.
Hello.
You want to read that
Hi.
poem?
Of course I do, with pleasure. Should I stand up as well, Jack?
Yeah, please
Or...
face the audience.
Okay.
This is like school.
Oh my God.
I know it's you can do this, and maybe Lux wants to tell us or put in chat what she was trying to do here with this poem. This is a really nice surprise, and I hope that this serves as encouragement for others. That we don't bite here. But Monkey, maybe just read it, and then Lux can tell us afterwards what a little bit about the context.
Okay. Our collaboration. The premise of having you here when you're gone brings excitement. Like a spoiled child, I thought we'd have more stolen time in the refracted here and now. The distance just ignites. More time that is sliced in this textural life. And you are on my mind more than I designed. Conversations bubbling, alive, bound inside, remaining, in and out, ebbs and flows the doubt. Anchoring for the better. We write our little love letters, clearly, easier to retain. When paused conversations cause broken sentences, we read alone in silence. Withdrawing to the out there, further away, was it anything? We make up something they say does not exist. Merely sea ghosts we are, less or more than our most, becoming each other's hosts, everything and nothing in our collaboration. That's it.
Wow. Thank you, Lux. Thank you, Monkey.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. This needs to happen more often. And then maybe Lux, if you want to destroy, if people want the poem on a note card so they can read it again, um, Lux can distribute it. And I don't. People don't need to talk about or explain, only if they want to. So this is not. I don't want to put you on the spot to tell us your inspiration or what you meant by this, or is it in reference to? Because I didn't ask Shyla either, but now I know it's about a college professor, right? Does the college professor know about that poem? This is really wonderful. I hope that people can come forward, and I highly encourage you to be participatory like that. And if you don't feel you want to read it and stand up in front of us, the crowd, the brutal crowd, then let me know. Yeah, but Lux, this is great. What that you just reached out and asked someone where you felt okay, I can confide in this person. Maybe that person wants to read it. So put that in the group, or ask me, and I'll find someone. Or people can also reach out and say, hey, I'm happy to read someone else's stuff. Um, if they don't, if they're not quite there yet, ready to present it themselves. So also, I want to say that sometimes people, I encounter this because I do a lot of interviews in SL for the videos, that people feel their English is not that great, or their accent is too strong. I love accents, um, and this is an environment that is inclusive, where discriminating people based on their ability to command the English language, I will not tolerate with anybody, including myself. So now I want to wrap this program by reading an amazing short story that I came across a couple days ago from Salvage Magazine. Oh, wait a minute. No, 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 wait a minute. Um, Mike saying, what if your English and your English accent is too strong? That's great point, Mike. We will discriminate against you. Very good. Yes, that must not stand. That you put the nail, or the what is it? The finger, the nail on the head, in terms of the only. We're very inclusive, but here we must exclude. Um, Before I'm going to close this with the most amazing short story that I know you guys will love, and this is so perfect for the holidays and for a new year. I do want to show something on the YouTube that you cannot see, unfortunately, in World. But Jamonkey, is Jamonkey still here? Oh yeah, he's down here. I'll bring Jamonkey here on the screen. Um, oh, also on the local chat, Kippy says my stories of Duff McKagan and Dweezil wouldn't be boring. Yeah, true. They were fun stories. Maybe I'll write a memoir at one point about those years in some sort of fashion. Um, Here, what I have here on my HUD, and you guys don't see it, is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens as a Second Life HUD, and you can of course open it, and it seems to be an original edition with original illustrations here. I don't know, Jamaki, maybe you put this in local chat to verify. Unfortunately, people cannot see this in World because it's not an object, it's a HUD, and you can read it in Second Life here, and it's just amazing. Here we go. Preface. I have endeavored in this ghostly little book to raise the ghost of an idea which shall not put my readers out of humor with themselves, with each other, with the season, or with me. May it haunt their houses pleasantly, and no one wish to lay it there. Faithful friend and servant, CD, December 1843. This is just amazing. So Jamonkey, um, folks should direct message him and beg him to give you one. I would give it to you, but it's no copy, as no transfer, no copy, no transfer. Absolutely awesome, right here in front of me that I can read in Second Life. Maybe there's a way to also put make this as an object, as a book, the Think book, or what we had an author on that makes her own books in Second Life. They're really really cool. Um, Roxy on the YouTube chat says she's English too. Roxy, yeah, that's. I'm sorry, you cannot. You must not speak up. I'm kidding. Now, um, I'm gonna close out the hour with this short story. Let me say that I would like to wish everyone a fantastic transition into 2023. I wanted to initially slow down and only have the show bi-weekly, but we have so many guests that it is almost weekly now. Amazing guests, and again, putting a lot more nonfiction, social science, history, anthropology, political stuff, left-leaning, of course, into the mix. And I hope you like the offerings. The folks that are booked, you can of course look at the calendar. So yeah, I wanted to initially thin it out to do a bi-weekly program, but couldn't do it because just too much good stuff. And it's doable. I mean, we're not going to kill ourselves with building a new set every week. It's just not sustainable. But we will still have amazing guests. We will prepare diligently, and we'll foster a good conversation. Um, yeah. So next week, the first show is a free for all, and then we'll have actually Panny with talking about role play, and then we have an amazing anthology with some of the best sci-fi writers in the world. The anthology is called Life Beyond Us, but I'm talking too much. You can look at the calendar. Now I'm going to read from Salvage Magazine. This is a magazine. I think it's four yearly magazines founded by China Mieville. Um, Socialist magazine, art, articles on current affairs, and poetry and short stories. And this is a short story called Pianos That Play Themselves by E.M. Lambden. I hope you enjoy it. This is an amazing short story here by an author that I already very young author. I already contacted them. Pianos That Play Themselves by E.M. Lambden. Like all towns, this is a ghost town. Everyone tries to deny it, of course. This town isn't like other places, they insist. In this town, people don't fade into their surroundings little by little each year until they're unseen and silent. But you know better. Every town has ghosts. Ghosts stocking shelves at the local supermarkets. Ghosts wiping down countertops at the diner down the street. Ghosts taking to the highway in 18-wheelers. People drive past these semi-trucks on the interstate all the time, turn to see the empty cab, and hunch down in their seats because ghosts aren't real. You started to become incorporeal in high school. You noticed it in your extremities first. You would hold your hands to the sun and watch as the light turned your palms into a vibrant red display of blood vessels like candling an egg with a flashlight. Nobody believed you when you told them, except for those classmates who had also begun to notice their voices diminishing, their fingers vanishing at the tips. When you arrive At your last new job, there are almost 200,000 miles on your car. It's a beater, rusted edges, a chipped paint job, a steadily growing crack neatly bisecting the windshield. A Toyota something or other, 22 years old, almost as old as you. But the engine still works, and it's solid, which is more than you can say for yourself. The manager, who greets you at the register, stares just a little too long, and you know why. He tilts his head and squints, and you avoid his gaze because you know that he can sort of make out the Surgeon General's warnings on cigarette boxes behind your face. This definitely isn't the first time he's had an employee who's a little bit transparent, so he shouldn't be surprised. You've seen them in here before, glassy eyed behind the counter, the light shining through them a little more each day until their tasks stop performing themselves and the help wanted sign goes up in the window. Your new place of work is a gas station with an adjoining pizza kitchen. Your new manager, a wiry, gawky man with slicked back hair and deep hollows beneath his eyes. His name tag reads Scott, 3 years of service. Scott is pale, his veins blue in the sunken parts of his skin, but his shadow is solid in a way yours isn't. He shows you how to clock in and takes you to the kitchen. It's not complicated, he says. Here's the oven, there's the dough mixer, over there's the sink. You'll be responsible for deliveries, of course. He pauses, craning his neck to get a better look at your car. And when you're not out on delivery, you'll be helping in the kitchen. At this, he frowns at you, through you. It's a common myth that some ghosts have trouble interacting with solid objects once their condition is manifest. Scott must be worried that you won't be able to do your job. To answer his unspoken question, you reach into the bucket of dough on the counter and fish out a solid fistful of the stuff. It's warm, it's freshly mixed, and it clings to your translucent fingers like a slurry of clay. Scott smiles with relief. Great, fantastic. Let's show you around. You had worse jobs. You used to bus tables at a busy restaurant. 6 hours on your feet, running, moving, hands and apron covered in smeared food and dish soap. Every night when you left, you felt disgusting. You could swear that you lost your opacity faster while you worked there, even though scientists claim that environmental factors do not control the rate of disappearance. Now you sit behind the wheel and watch the town slide by, feeling your way through streets like you're etching them onto what's left of your hands until you know every alleyway, every address by heart. It's almost peaceful, really, except for when you climb out of the driver's seat to knock on customers' doors. Some of them don't see you, which is terrifying at first. They look at the food or the ground or sometimes straight through you, and it makes you think that you were always meant to be a ghost. Some of them do see you, look at you, and you almost wish they wouldn't. You can tell you're an intrusion into the comfort of their bright foyer, the party going on in the house behind them, the intimate moment, the family dinner. They look at you with discomfort or pity, neither of which make you feel better. This might net you a couple of extra crumpled dollars fished out of a side pocket offered like thighs. It's small, the cost of their absolution. When you take the money and they close the door, you're still fading. Some of them say, thank you for coming all the way out here. And you would tell them that it's no favor, that you have no choice, but your voice is small, and these days you can only choose from a few stock phrases. It's no trouble. Anytime. It's my pleasure. You decide to record your lines on the fourth day of work when your voice fails you at a customer's door. He's a kind-looking man with spectacles and a squash-faced cat draped over his shoulders like a scarf. The cat surveys you with disdainful eyes, but the customer's expression is earnest as he hands you a crisp $5 bill. Thanks for going out of your way, he says. You start to shake your head and open your mouth, but sound won't come out. Yes, you can still interact with the physical, your car, your phone, the dough mixer at work, but there are parts of your body that aren't working like they used to. Your voice is the product of folds of muscle vibrating in your throat, a correspondence of your own flesh. You have to force out the words. It's my pleasure. You don't look at him. You look into the warm living space behind him. There's a woman curled on a mottled brown couch, draped in a kilt. She's focused on the television and she doesn't turn around. He gestures again with the bill and you pocket the pity money. You hand him the pizza and he fumbles with the boxes while trying to keep the cat balanced on his shoulders. He closes the door, cutting off the light, and you trudge back to your car, empty pizza bag slung over your shoulder. The store is 3 miles away, but you put 7 more on your car. You weave through the streets at random and stop at the curb about 2 minutes away from the store to pull out your phone and download a recording app. Once it's open, you clear your throat to ready your voice and say, "It's my pleasure," as bright and chipper as you can make the words. You summon that smile from the topmost inch of yourself. It's not good enough, so you try it again. "It's my pleasure." Better. "It's no trouble at all," you tell your phone, and your own voice echoes it back to you, more confident now. "It's no trouble at all." You sit by the curb for several minutes, reciting every phrase you think you might need. "Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience." "Any time." "How can I help you today?" Someday your voice will be gone completely. It happens to most ghosts eventually. When that happens, these words will be all you have, so you have to make sure you cover everything that people expect to hear. When you're done, you toss the phone onto the passenger seat and restart the car. It takes the engine an awful 10 seconds to finally turn over, and then you're off across rain-slicked streets back to the store. You've had better jobs. You used to teach children to play the piano. They would sit next to you on the bench, awkward fingers stumbling to copy your movements. Their parents would shake your hand at the start and end of each lesson and leave you with a signed check. When your fingers became harder to see, you had to stop. Your students couldn't track the movements of your hands as they skated over the keys, and you lacked the presence to keep them focused. There are electronic pianos that can play themselves, pianolas, pneumatic creations that can activate the hammers within the instrument to play pre-programmed melodies on their own. You've seen them in hotel lobbies when you deliver pizza. Why hire a pianist when these exist? When there no longer needs to be a body occupying the bench. But there's no flourish to a pianola. A pianist can add a subtle pause where they think the music requests it, a new vibrato to a note, a new intensity or softness to a piece. Once you know the difference, it's impossible not to hear it when it happens. Sometimes there's something special about the music that haunts marble foyers and crowded restaurants and street corners. The keys rise and fall of their own accord, but every note is still alive with spirit. You try to decide what you will do once you're invisible. It's difficult to establish a baseline since nobody knows what the invisible population does, where they go, what they do. You imagine it must be hard to have friends if nobody can see you, but maybe there's some secret code amongst ghosts. How would you communicate without words, without gestures? It's far more likely that ghosts don't communicate at all with anyone. The thought leaves you so gut-wrenchingly lonely that you force it away, despite knowing with awful certainty that you don't have long left. You clean dishes and ignore the middle-aged woman yelling over the counter about her pizza order. She can't look at you, so she isn't really yelling at you so much as at the kitchen in general. At the oven, or the raw dough, or the prep counter, or at your coworker, John, who is doing his best. You keep cleaning dishes. If you're invisible, will you still get paid? If you keep clocking in and you keep quietly doing your job, maybe the paychecks will keep rolling. But if you lose this job, you're not sure what else you can do. You won't be able to get a new one once the condition takes full effect. The woman tucks streaky auburn hair behind one ear and huffs. "I've been standing here for 10 minutes. How long is this going to take?" "It'll just be a couple more minutes, ma'am," says John. His voice measured. "Your pizza's in the oven." "Can you speed it up at all? I have places to be." "No, not really. But like I said, it's almost finished." You wonder if John has ever held his hands up to the light and felt a flicker of panic at the bright labyrinth of veins and arteries. He doesn't look at you as you're working and only rarely says anything. You're not invisible yet, which means that John is avoiding your gaze on purpose. You wonder if he sees his future through your face. When you get home, you stare into the mirror to gauge your own opacity. No matter how you turn your head, you can get the light to catch your eyes, and the popcorn drywall is plainly visible through your skin. Your clothes used to be a louder compliment, but they're almost invisible now, too. The longer you look, the worse it gets, until you can't decide where your body ends and your surroundings begin. You blend at the edges, and that's new. The soft blur where your sharp borders used to be. You spent the night turning the lights on and off, trying on different clothes, trying to look through the camera lens on your phone instead of the mirror, anything to convince yourself that it's not as bad as it looks. Eventually, you curl up on the floor and try to cry a little bit, but you can't even do that because you're not surprised. This is a steady progression. This is where you always knew you would be. Like all towns, this is a ghost town. The ghosts are part of this town as much as the cracked concrete or the pothole riddled asphalt or the weathered brick facades. You're part of this town as much as you ever were, more than you have ever been. You've been delivering pizza for a year and you're finally invisible. You're a vessel now, like the cells you traced through your own capillaries. Nobody pays attention to the things that keep their bodies or their cities alive, unseen systems of nerves and ghosts holding that framework together. You think you might understand it now as you flow through the city in silence. People would rather not know what keeps the blood moving and would rather not think about how fragile it all is, how easily these mechanisms can fall apart. A quiet aneurysm, rust on the girders of an aging bridge, a blocked artery, a downed power line. Or a less dramatic decline, when blood cells are destroyed faster than they can regenerate, broken down through malnutrition. The heart will slowly fail. You keep delivering pizza. Mostly this is because you don't think you have much of a choice. Even as your thoughts grow dull and the numbness starts to set in, you still breathe and eat and occupy space. You still feel rain and cold and heat. You think that you can still die, and you still don't want to. So, pizza, veins, deep breaths, your disembodied voice from the speaker of your phone. It's my pleasure. You want it to be unsustainable, but it's not. You know that you could do this forever and that probably you will. There's a piano on a street corner, a couple of blocks away from the store. It's right outside of the entrance to a coffee shop, and the few times you've pulled over by the side of the road on your way back from a delivery to watch someone give it a whirl. This piano plays itself sometimes, and whenever it does, there's a desperate beauty to the song. It's the middle of a Thursday night rush when you drive by it, but you stop anyway, because you might as well. You pull over and lean against the chipped paint of your car and watch from across the street as a balding man tries to muddle through a melody, his two young daughters clamoring next to the piano. He doesn't miss a note, but he plays like a pianola, every chord with mechanical precision. His wife stands to the side, arms folded, tapping her foot. Eventually, he throws his hands up and rises from the bench. You drift across the street and take his place. Your fingertips glide over the keys just once. The family pauses on the sidewalk as you begin to play. At first, your joints are stiff and you miss a note here or there, but the little girl's eyes are round nonetheless. One of them tugs on her father's sleeve, and the other runs back to the piano. She hangs from the side of it, her small chin resting on the wooden key block at its side. She stares as if at your hands. Your nerves loosen with each measure, and you find the flow of the music again. It asks things of you, suggests a softer touch here and a faster pace there, and you answer like you're locked in a constant dialogue with the ebb and flow of sound. The children are perched at either side of the instrument, watching you play with fascination as though they can see your fingers spread spider-like over the keys. One of the girls laughs and looks over her shoulder at her parents. It's a ghost! They give her thin, tolerant smiles. You switch up the melody. The chords are no longer a gentle conversation between you and the music. They're a rush of everything you have wanted to say, everything you couldn't record in your phone, everything you couldn't find the words for, and every sound your throat would never let leave. Dissonant, loud, beautiful. It breaks your heart, and it's euphoric to feel your heart break. You'd cry or laugh but nobody would see it or hear it, so you cry and laugh through crescendo. Eventually, the family has to leave. The couple drags their daughters away from the magical piano, but you don't stop playing, even as the sky begins to grow dark. The cold air bites at your unseen fingers, and somewhere, Scott is fielding a customer's angry call about their late order. Tickets are backed up in a busy kitchen. In all likelihood, you're losing your job. When the sun comes back up and the city comes to tow your car, you are still playing. And that's it. Pianos That Play Themselves by E.M. Lambden. I should put this in the local chat. He has a Tumblr page. Yeah, you're still playing. It's a wonderful story. So I contacted them to consider coming on the show. And this is from Salvage Magazine. I'm going to wrap up the show. Let me end by saying again how much I appreciate the support. By by support, I mean, people showing up and being interested in what we put together, what we have to offer. Um, and a big shout out to this magazine, Salvage Magazine. Look it up. It's an amazing magazine, really thought provoking. Here I'm camming an E.M. Lambden. I'll put this in the local chat. That's the name of the author. Again, this magazine was founded by China Mieville. Careful, might turn you into a socialist. So take a shower after you read it. Yeah, and big thanks to Kitten on the YouTube, because Kitten is has an anniversary today. Please, everybody, give a shout out to Kitten, and let's make this our wish that Kitten can join us in World. Um, Kitten has been a member for 12 months of my YouTube channel. I offer membership on the YouTube channel. There's amazing perks, like, you know, me recording a phone message. I don't know what the perks are. I'm going to be nice. That's the perk. I'm going to be a kind person. Um, See, Gapno is saying, look, Gapno is looking forward to seeing Kitten in World, and so am I. But for now, Kitten is on YouTube, and yeah, that's where we have her, and that's good. So, wow, my voice is giving out. I'm going to. Kippy says on YouTube, "Happy birthday, Kitten! Do for Tuesday. See you in World." Yes. Now, next week is informal free for all. Please contact me before Wednesday if you want to read. I hope this was encouraging a little bit. Lux was presenting her poem, and Shala was reading, and maybe there's a book in you. Um, Here's my last slide. I just found another slide. This is from the premiere of the documentary. And people have asked me if I wrote this book and a metaverse for all. No, but maybe I should. Thank you, everybody. Really wonderful to see everybody. Make it a bookish year. Take it from me. Don't get into toxic productivity. Um, this is not a numbers game. This is a game of understanding and depth. Even if you read only one book this year, make it count. Take notes. You know, record your dreams, but have a notepad with you at all times. Read deeply rather than shallowly. Okay, and see you all next Wednesday, and we're going to go out with a song, and I had this lined up earlier, and now I can't find it anymore. This is the Turnaround Lullaby by yours truly, and we'll see you all next Wednesday, right here or somewhere on Book Club Island. I think Mike Watson is drunk over here. He is in the chair. He's drinking the chair. Thanks for coming and bye-bye.